Hello, welcome. Hope you're having an amazing day. In this tutorial, we're going to go over dynamic pages and how to set them up correctly, understand how they work. And we're going to actually do it on Wix Studio since it's a brand new platform. Well, I wouldn't say brand new, but it's been like 2 months. So let's get started, okay? Um, as you can see here, we already have a blank page. We haven't done anything, and yours should look similar. Now, if you already have a website, then it's very simple to just add it to the current site. First, we're going to go over the CMS. And what you want to do is pretty much understand what a CMS is, right? It's pretty much a way of you having a lot of data, like a list, images. It can be literally anything to help you pretty much display multiple information. And once you learn how to use this, it makes your life much easier because you can create one single design on a page, and then from there, you can just like repeat everything. So first, we're gonna set up our collection, and again, all you have to go is on the CMS and click Add to Site. And once you do this, it should look something like this. You're gonna have your collections here, the main option right here. This once we add our collection, we should be able to add also what's called a data set, and I'm going to explain everything there. But first, let's set up our collection. So we're going to go click collection here, and this is very important. You want to name your collection. And this is something that you want to pay a little bit of attention, because if in the future you decide to start using a little bit of code and you need to reference, you want to make sure it's easier for you to identify what is this going to be for, right? So let's say we're going to use this for lawyers, okay? So let's say we're building a database for lawyers. And then you're going to do create, okay? Once you create this, there's another step that's important to pay attention, which is the permissions. Okay, who is going to be able to see this information? Are you going to have some part of this database available for the public to see? Is it just people that are going to be creating their own accounts are going to be able to see it? Or is this only people that have created an account in your website? So this is important to know because that's how you're going to set the permissions. Now, if this is just for a public website where you want to display all this information for everyone, then all you have to do is close this window right here. You go onto the three little dots right here and then set the permissions and privacy. Okay, so right here it's already set to public because it's going to be view. The content is going to display for anyone. The admin or the owner of the website is the one that's going to be adding everything from the back. So this doesn't make too much, it doesn't matter too much. But if in the future you plan to use these dynamic pages or collections for specific group of people, this is where you're going to set who is going to be the person that is able to add the content, like a site member, and then who can delete the content. Of course, is going to be the person that created that that information or that data added into the CMS, and then who can also update. In this case, normally you can leave it to site member if it's like the same person, or if you want to plan to have a super admin in the website. So again, we're not going to go too much into this right now because we're just trying to understand how a dynamic page works. So we're going to just click save. So we're going to leave it like that. Then we're going to go here to our lawyers CMS. And by default, you already have what's called title. Now, this is very important to know, and I'm going to show you in a bit why setting up a primary element, it's important, because once you start creating your dynamic pages, this is going to be based or display what you have on each page. Okay, so let's first add a name. So we're going to do name. We can do we're going to keep it very simple because I want to make sure we get to the point. So we're going to have name, last name. Of course, we're going to do email, and lastly we're going to do image. Okay, so like profile. So we can scroll down here and do image. We can name it profile, and actually phone number. So before I continue, I just want to mention that all of these essential types, each type is also going to be able to be connected to a specific type of element. So if let's say you want to add a gallery, you will have to use the gallery. You cannot use the image because you want to add multiple items. If you want to connect a URL, then it can work for a text input, but the type of data inside has to be a URL. If not, it's going to give you an error. And text, this is the most common that you will use because you can connect it to literally small text, just like one line or a paragraph. The only thing is with text, you cannot change the font size, things like that. And then with rich text, yes, you can change how it's going to look. And rich content, you can add videos, images within the same text. So it gives you those options. Tags is if you want to be able to have some type of search function in the future where you can select specific tags to display different data. So let's say you can use tags for specialties for, let's say, these lawyer collections that we're building, right? Or the dynamic pages that we're going to set. So this is something that can be used. So we're gonna see. Okay, so we're gonna add a phone number. We said, and then the reason why I don't for the phone number I don't use number. I use text. It's because sometimes I want people to be able to add the dash of the parentheses. That's why. Because if you just use number, it's gonna be straight up number. It won't let you to add any text to it. So this is perfect for like if you want people to not make the mistake of adding anything else but numbers. So then you use numbers like age, weight, and other things. So let's do this one. We're gonna name it phone number and we're gonna click save. So as you can see, we have pretty much our collection ready. All we have to do now is just close this. And there's two ways to add a dynamic page. One is you can go in under pages, click here under add new page, and then you can do dynamic page. If you do it this way, it will prompt you to create a collection or to select one that's already there. So since we already have a collection, what we want to do is we just want to go directly to the CMS, your collections, and then on the three little dots, you want to do add a dynamic page. Okay, so once you do here, the system automatically gives you two different versions. One where you display all the information, and then when you click on that one, so it'll be like the parent page, right? So when you click on that one, it will take you to a detail page. That's how you want to see it, so it's not confusing. So normally I will say all page and then title page, or all page and detail page, whatever is easy for you. Normally, if you want to already design your own, I will normally go with blank page. But if you feel like you want to work on something that's already there, easy to go, then you can just select list page. For this example, because I want to be a little bit more creative to show you all the elements that you can connect, we're going to do blank page, and then we're going to add to the side. And then you want to add two different pages normally because you want to have the data where it displays all the elements and then each single element, right? So we need two pages. So as you can see here, automatically added lawyer's title, and the title was picked from the primary element here or item. Okay, so if you would want to use the name as a primary, all you have to do is click here and make this the primary. Now, if you end up doing this, one thing that is very important to know is when you have not that much data, it's okay to use name or last name for this. But the problem is that if you have people that have the same last name and same first name or both, which it could be very common, then you're going to have problems, right? So normally the title will be something a little bit more unique because then you can set it to a specific, let's say, position, or you can also use a type of ID. So the system already has, if we go here on manage fields, you already have ID, right? So if you select ID, you can make actually this the primary, right? So right now it's not going to show anything because we don't have any data. But if you want to create some kind of ID as the primary, you can do that. So we're just going to hide it again, and then we're going to make title the primary. Again, this is important, and I'm going to show you as we progress into adding data to see how this is going to work. So for now, we just left it as a title. So we go on edit settings here, right? Sorry, on the page. We're gonna go here on the lawyers. We're gonna go here on the settings. And why we want to go here is because this is how the URL is going to show. So you'll have, let's say, your website, which is going to be, let's say, lawyers.com forward slash and then title, whatever is on the title. Or if you would have lawyers.com forward slash and then you have name and last name, then that's how it will work. For now, we can just delete this. We don't want title. We want to have what we call an all page where there's not specific an item that's going to show, but it's just going to show all of them. Okay, so we're going to leave it like that. And then what we want to do is we want to go back to our CMS, go to the collections, and then on the three dots, we're going to add a second dynamic page. Okay, and then we can also do this as the blank page, and then boom. So now you have your old page or your parent page and then the child page. So as you can see here, it's going to show all and title. So now we have those two pages. The Wix Studio is a little bit different than Classic Editor. On Classic Editor, whenever you add a data set, which is what we're gonna use to connect the element to the collection, so it's like almost like a connector, right? You wanna you were gonna add it from here, but normally you will see a little floating button that says dataset. In Wix Studio, it's a little bit different. Once you add a dataset, it will show on the right panel. Now, because this is a dynamic page, it already has a connection right here. So that's why you're gonna see it on this part, right? So we already have the items, but you can always go here and do lawyers, right, and then create. And then once you do that, as you can see, it added it again. So we have our data set. So we're since we already have one here, we don't need to add it again. But now you know that part. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back here and we're gonna start adding our elements to connect everything. We're not gonna go too much in design detail. I think if you like this video and you're interested in learning more about how to add more elements or things like that, just let me know in the comments. But for now, we're just gonna keep it very simple. So let me put my camera here. So normally, what I now that I've been using Studio, I usually like to add a 5% padding on the side for the page. Again, if you're new already using Wix Studio, don't worry. Feel free to try and explore. It's actually really cool. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go into adding a repeater because we want to make sure we display the picture or profile of the person, the email, phone number, contact information, and then a button, or we can turn the image into a button so it takes us to the detail page of that person. So let's go into where'd it go? Trying to find it. Okay, here it is. So on Wix Studio, you're gonna find a repeater under layout tools, and then you wanna just use repeaters, and then you can use one blank repeater right here, and then you can just uh, decide how many cards you wanna show, right? Depending on how much data you have, normally you can just go into the design element, and you can set it to display always 4 elements, 4 rows, or you can set it to say 3. If I would expand this, it will automatically only display 3. But if I do 4 here, it will always show 4. So if I add another item, it's going to do that. And then if I add another one, it's going to add it at the bottom. So that's how you know how to do that. So we're just going to expand it here we're gonna make it a little smaller, and then just because I don't want it to be too big there, and then we can do this one a little lighter, and now we can add our first image. So we're gonna go to media, and then we want to make sure it's adjusted nicely, and then we're gonna do a small text, and then once we add our text here, and just adjust it right here, and then we can center. I'll use Wix medium, and then we'll do like 19 so it looks nice. One cool thing, this is just an extra tip. As you're working on the Wix Studio, because it's responsive, anytime you add a text or an element, you can set what's the max width that you want for that specific breakpoint. But I normally like to do a max on the text because I want to make sure when you expand to a bigger screen, it's not all over the place. So I'll do a max of 19 for the text, and then the minimum I will just do 14, and then you'll see what it does. So we have this is gonna be first name, first name, and then we can just duplicate this and do we can do phone number, and lastly we're just gonna add a button. Okay. So the cool thing about creating a dynamic page is that you can add as much data in the front, but of course the point of you having a detail page is that you want to show all the data and just give kind of like a teaser on the first part. So of course I will just do like first name, position probably instead of phone number, right? Because I want them to see more information. So let's just do here title instead, so or position of the person, and then here we're gonna change this to view details. You can also say something like contact, learn more, things like that. So for now we're just gonna keep it as view details. Okay, and then what I will do, I'll move it outside and book it back inside, so it will change it for all. So it's a quick tip right there. So we have our pretty much our old page, right? Now we're gonna create our detail page, and we're not connecting anything yet, so just keep that in mind. We're just setting up our page. Here again, I'm just gonna add a 5% padding, and okay, and then we're gonna add a. First, I would do a small media page, like page here, something like that, for the profile. Um, I will add a text here with like name or full name, and then we can even do first name, and then one cool thing is that whenever you're using Velo in the future, if you're planning to do that, when you create a form and they add a first name and last name, you can combine it to show the full name. In this case, because we're assuming that the owner is adding the information in the back end, instead of having first name and last name, we can just have full name, but it's totally up to you. But either way, if you would want to display, let's say both, we're just gonna do it different today. So we can do first name and last name, right? So we can do something like this, and then we can duplicate this to phone number, and then we're gonna do one more for email, right? And what I'm thinking is to add a little bit even more of information here. We can add a description or bio for the lawyers. So we're gonna go back to our CMS. We're gonna go to your collections, click lawyers, and instead just we're gonna add another field here, and we're gonna do a rich content. So right here we can name this bio, or whatever you want to name it. Okay, so that way we can add more text here. So then to add an element for that, all you have to do is go to the CMS, add elements, and then you want to do rich content. Okay, so we're just gonna add here, and then you can just adjust it, and this can be connected. So we have first name, last name, phone number, email, and then we're just gonna add a small text now, and then this can be like this. So we're just adjusting everything, and do it like this. Okay, and then we're almost there. Again, design, we're not working too much on design right now, so you just wanna see the functionality mainly. First name. I usually like to add CMS in front of like the item that I wanna connect. So anytime somebody else tries to use the site or help me with something, they know what's connected or not. If in the event that it's connected, so that way we can do it like that. And all I'm doing is copy and paste. I can reuse it. And phone number. Then duplicate this into email. Okay, so now we're gonna do this. Perfect. Um, so we have pretty much all the elements that we need. Now we can go back to our old pages and start connecting everything. So first I will connect this image. I will click on it, and now I'll go to the connections or to the data set, and then I'll make sure it's connected to lawyers item, right? And then right here, we're gonna do profile. Now, one cool thing about an image is that once you scroll down to where it says link connects to, if you want to turn the image into a button, you want to go here, and then you can select your title or detail page. And then we're going to do first name. So this is going to be name, and then title. We can do the title. And then the detail page, we can also do title page, this one. Okay, and that's it. So now we connected all. Because it's a repeater, you don't have to do it on all of them. It automatically adds it for all of them. And then here we're gonna add one just small section, and then we can do 5, and then 5, and then we can use a small title or text. So we're gonna do, let me see. Okay, to see some elements, this is something that I want to mention is you can always go to here on start coding, even though you're not going to be coding, because it's going to display more information or more elements that you might not see right now. So once we do that, we can go back here. Let me see. Okay, so we're going to use one of the text elements. But this is the item that's going to show once you turn on the element for adding code. You'll be able to see this, and again, there's other tools available there, so that's something that you can use. And then here we can just change the tool, our lawyers, and then we can just like make it like that. And then we're gonna go now to our detail or title page. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna click on our image. You can go directly here to link it to, if you were not connecting it to the CMS, you can connect it to a URL. You can also connect it to the CMS from here or from this side, whichever makes it easier for you. So we're gonna go here, gonna do image, gonna do this one to name, and this is gonna be last name. This is gonna be phone number. So phone number, this is gonna be email, and then right here, this is gonna be connected also to the bio, rich content. Okay, so now we can click. We're not gonna publish it because we're gonna add some data here. So let's add at least 4 elements. So on the title, I will do like, let's say, what are some titles for lawyers? Owner, no, what do they call them? Should do CEO, CFO, and so you can do something like this, or you can also turn this into the full name, whatever is easy for you. So let's actually turn this into a full name. This won't change, so just keep that in mind. Name. And we can do Richie, Smith, Jackie, Love, Gina, Cochina. And then here is Richie. Then here is Jackie. And then Gina. Actually, we're gonna add another one. So we're gonna do John Cena. Then John. And then here we're gonna add last name. And here, this is gonna be Smith, right? I don't know if I spell it right, but okay. And then the email, we can do like Smith at email.com. This can be love at email.com. And then Gene Helen. And then John Z at email.com. Okay, and then we're just gonna add profiles. So an image for Richie, can do head shut, and just do this guy. So that's Richie, and then Jackie. I know I heard that there's women named that are Jackie, so let's just use. Oh, sorry, a woman. Let me copy this. So let's use her. And then here is gonna be also maybe a woman. Then we're gonna do this part right here. And let's use her. And then John. And then right here we can use him. Okay. And then again, pretty much we're getting there. So that way, the last thing we're gonna do is we're just gonna display the data, and we should be done. So we're just gonna use the same information for this ones. And okay, so the last thing we're gonna do is we're just gonna add a bio. So I'm gonna pull up um, some data here from the internet. And 1 second. Okay. Okay. So we're gonna just paste this right here. And then I can just copy paste. Again, you can add images and stuff because it's rich content. So if you would add an image, you can do it from here. Let's say we do that. And then we can do another one. So this is demi data. And then let's do something like that. And then we're gonna do the next one. Then this one, we're not gonna add a picture, so just leave it like that. And then this one, we are gonna add a picture. Let's do that one. Okay. So perfect. Now let's test our page. And actually, before we even test our page, because right now we just created the dynamic pages on the home page, technically there's nothing that can connect it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to our menu, manage menu, and we're gonna add an item right here, dynamic pages, and then we can select all our pages, and then we can name it our lawyers, and that's it. Okay, so now we can click publish our lawyers and save and continue. So now let's take a look our page. Um, so we're gonna go to our lawyers, and as you can see right now it's only showing one image. So the reason why it's doing that is on our data set we have it set to only display one item. So the way you fix that is going back to your lawyer page here. So let's give it a second to load. Okay, there it is. And then we want to go to our we're going to click on our element. There you go. And then right here on data settings you want to do number of items. So you, it depends on how many items you have. Let's say you can do 30 items, and if you're gonna have more than certain number of items in your collection, you can always add a button named load more. So let's actually do it. So we're gonna do this part right here, and we're gonna add a button. We can just name it load more, and then this one you're gonna connect it to the data set, and then you're gonna do load more. So perfect. Now it's connected here, and then anytime you reach the point of adding more elements. So again, once you reach 30 that display, then the load more button will be activated automatically. So now we can click publish, and then we can refresh our page. We should be able to see all four. And then we can click on the image. And then again, the design we didn't take care of it too much because on Wix Studio is a little bit more responsive. So you got to stack and do other things. But mainly is the functionality. Again, there's the image. And the way to fix that, it's very simple actually. Let me just give you that as a bonus. So you can just do, so you can do something like this. And you can place in a container, and then right here you can adjust this, and then this ones you can stack them, and this one you can stack, and you can actually do all this. So you have it within a container and then stack. But then just keep in mind that when you are on the mobile version or desktop version, you might make the text a little smaller so it adjusts and looks good. Because if you don't, then you're gonna have a little bit of a mess. But I'll make another video on that. Let me know in the comments if you're interested. So see, it's a little better. Shows the information, and you can go as far as like once you're on the detail page, right? To add a button right here so it goes back. So you can have something like this, change the text, and just have back. And then you can do something like that. And then this one, you can connect it just to all dynamic pages, then done. Of course, you can make it a little nicer than that, but at least you see, you get the idea. So let's refresh this. So hopefully it shows our button. There you go. So you can go back. Yeah. Cool. So hope you like this tutorial. Let me know if you have questions, you need help, and we'll go from there. Have a good one.